Welcome to the session number 6. In that module number 1, Introduction on Basic Materials Used in Foundry. Previously, we'll discuss in up to session number 5, discuss about different pattern materials. In previous class about types of risers and then different molding machines. In that jolt machine, squeeze machine, jolt squeeze and slant sliders operations we'll discuss in detail. Now session number 6 is move on to some study of important molding processes. In that molds can be preferred with sand or mold, and then these are various sand molds as well as metallic molds in which castings are made. But in module number 1 is related to some different sand molds, important molding process made with sand. Metal molds we'll discuss in module number 2. In sand molds, the different important molding processes are green sand mold, dry sand mold, core sand mold, and then carbon dioxide mold, shell molding, investment molding, plaster of mold, and then cement bonded mold. These are the main important molding processes. We will discuss one by one. First, we will take sand molds. In this green sand mold is the widely used processes for casting for both ferrous as well as non-ferrous metals. In this procedure for making the green sand mold is very important because in lab also you can using the same procedure for making the mold cavity. These are the basic steps required. You have to prepare procedure involved in making a green sand mold. This is the main thing you required is boxes, mold boxes. One is scope, another one is drag box. First you have to take the drag box and then you have to place inverted, and then pattern is placed in drag box and filled with the sand. First you have to place this mold box reverse and then place the pattern. After placing the pattern, you have to sprinkle the parting sand. Parting sand is nothing but a dried silica sand, and then you have to fill the sand, and then it is made up of sand is made up of silica sand, and then you have to add some binder. It is nothing but clay. That is silica sand is around 85 to 90%, and then binder is around 6 to 12%, and then water is around 3 to 5%. And additives are mixed to prepare this green sand mixture, and then you have to place the pattern. Afterwards you have to put the pattern in the middle of the box. Afterwards you have to fill the sand. This is nothing but molding sand up to the top level of this one. After filling this one and then before that sprinkle the parting sand on the pattern surface to avoid green sand mixture sticking to the pattern. That's why you have to sprinkle the parting sand. Afterwards you have to fill the sand up to this level, and then you have to revert. The drag box is inverted so that the pattern faces the top side. Initially you have to keep like this, and then you have to inverted, pattern will come top side. Okay. After that, again you have to above this drag box you have to place the cope box. Before that you have to again sprinkle the parting sand, because this cope box will not stick to the drag box. That's why you have to sprinkle. Afterwards you have to place this drag box, cope box above the drag box. Afterwards in proper locations you have to place the runner and then riser, sprue and then risers, and then you have to fill the sand to the mold box. After filling the entire sand, and then now you have to remove the sprue and then risers, and then by using the tools you can cut the gates. It is here I will show this sketch. You have to cut the gates, small gates. Here you have to pour the molten metal will enter, and then small gate, and then the mold cavity. Okay. Afterwards, whenever you require some holes or cavities, you can place the core. This is the core part. Okay. Now then remove this part, and then you have to cut the gates and then assemble. Okay. This is again this side also you can cut the gates and then assemble. Okay. Now the this is core is placed above the mold, and then this is the vent holes. What are the here shown? That is the easy escape of gases, and then mold is ready for pouring the molten metal. This is the basic procedure for making the green sand mold. And then in green sand mold, these are the advantages, and then this is the least expensive method. Sand can be reused many times after reconditioning with clay and moisture. Preferred for simple, small and medium sized castings, and then suitable for mass production. These are the main advantages of green sand molding. And then this is the disadvantages of this green sand molding. Molds prepared by this process is lack permeability, strength and stability. It gives rise to many defects like porosity, blowholes, etc. because of low permeability and lot of steam formation due to presence of this moisture. And then molds cannot be stored for long time, and then not suitable for very large castings. And then by using these green sand molds, what are the surface finish and dimensional accuracy of castings are not satisfactory. These are the main drawbacks or disadvantages. And then next we'll go for dry sand mold. Here dry sand mold is prepared in the same manner as that of the green sand mold, same manner, except that the mold is baked in the oven to remove the moisture content present in the sand, and also to harden the molds. Okay, procedure is same in green sand mold, except after preparing the molds, the entire mold is kept in ovens and then remove the moisture content, and then also to harden the mold. That is the difference. And then the advantages of dry sand molds are strength and stability of these dry sand molds is high when compared to green sand molds. And then baking removes moisture, and then what are the defects in green sand molds must be eliminated. And then dry sand molds give better surface finish and dimensional tolerance as compared to green sand molding. And then these are the main disadvantages of this dry sand mold. Consumes more time, labors and cost due to some baking process, hence not suitable for mass production. And then not suitable for large and heavy size castings as they are difficult to bake. That is also one main drawback. And then high initial cost of baking molds in oven. That is also one drawback. Underbaked or overbaked molds is another drawback of this dry sand molds. Next we'll go for core sand molding. Here core sand molding, here core sand mixture is used to prepare the core blocks. Here in sketch I have shown these are the different core blocks. This is one, another one. Okay, these are the core different size of core blocks, and then these core blocks when assembled will form the desired mold cavity. By using these core blocks we can mold this is a cavity, and then intricate or highly complex shapes castings can be made by using this core sand molding, and then heavy castings can be produced in these molds, and then castings with good surface finish with all the details can be produced, and then needs careful and proper core settings. Mold box is filled with baking sand near the walls. Here these are the cores, and then this is the baking sand. This is the mold box, and then you have to fill the baking sands. Afterwards, whatever required size you can place the cores, and then you have to get this mold cavity. Cores are set and are packed tightly in position against the baking sand. The mold cavity is formed along with the gating and raising, but in sketch I will not show the gating and raising section. Okay, and then molten metal can now be poured into the closed molds. Process of core setting is laborious and time consuming, and then it is costly process also. This is about core sand mold. Next we'll go for sweep mold. Here in sweep mold I already explained in this one types of gates. Okay, and classification of patterns I will explain already. See, in this sweep molding, the cavity is formed as a pattern, sweeps and sand all around the circumference. Here a thin wooden piece is attached to the spindle. This is the spindle, this is rotatable, and then center is attached to the spindle, and then you have to fill the sand, and then this is the contour, this is the wooden board. Whatever the size required you can prepare this the contour. After filling the entire sand to the this box, afterwards we can revolve this spindle. While revolving this spindle, okay, and then you will get the mold cavity. A thin wooden piece is attached to the spindle on one edge, while the other edge has a contour depending on the desired shape of the casting as shown in sketch. A spindle is placed at the center of the mold and rotated. The spindle is placed in center and then rotated. Okay, and then rotated so that the wooden piece sweeps in the mold, generating the shape of the required casting. Grain sand, loam sand, and sodium silicate sand can be used to prepare the molds. The process is used for producing some large castings of circular sections and then symmetrical shapes. Then we will go for these sweep molds. Next one is carbon dioxide molding. Here carbon dioxide molding is also known as sodium silicate process. Is one of the widely used processes for making molds and cores. In this process, sodium silicate is used as the binder, but the sodium silicate activates or tend to bind the sand particles only in the presence of carbon dioxide gas to form silica gel and sodium carbonate. For this reason, the process is commonly known as CO2 process as shown in sketch. This is the process. First you have to place the drag pattern and then prepare the mold as usual. Afterwards is the runner and then riser, and then you have to place some vent holes. After preparing the entire mold, since gel is acts as a strong as binder between silica and sand grains, and this process takes place without the application of heat. In as manner you can prepare the mold. Afterwards you have to impinge the gas pipe to the CO2 gas. Then only this sodium silicate will activate or tends to bind the sand particles in the presence of this carbon dioxide gas. This is a simple process. And then these are the advantages of carbon dioxide molding. Here operation is faster, and then molds and cores can be used immediately after processing, and eliminates baking ovens, and semi-skilled laborers can also be used in this process. And then only the drawbacks or disadvantages of this uh, molding process is molds are more expensive compared to other process, and difficulty in is reclaiming the used sand. That is also one main drawback. Next we'll go for shell molding. Here it is a special form of sand molding. It is used for producing small castings, that is up to 50 kg of steel castings. And in this molding, very intricate, accurate, and then good surface finish castings can be produced, and then machining can be eliminated almost. In this process, first you have to take first half you have to prepare, afterwards you will go for the same procedure, another half you have to prepare. And then sand mix consists of some washed and dried fine sand, and then some thermosetting binder plus binder resin. Okay, this is the thermocol resin. Here these are the shape of the casting to be produced. And then first we have to prepare the sand mix. Consists of some washed and dried fine sand particles, and then thermosetting binder as a resin. Here you have to place in the box. Okay, after placing the box you have to fit it this again this metal pattern is heated. uh, the sand mix is prepared dry in mixer and then taken in the box. This is the box. First you have to prepare the sand mix, okay, and then you have to store it here. Afterwards you have to the metal pattern, that is nothing but aluminum, is heated around 200 to 250 degrees centigrade and coated with a releasing agent, that is silicon grease, and then only one half of the pattern is used. And then the sand now, okay, after heating 200 to 250 degrees centigrade, now you can revert, box is inverted. Now the thin layer or shell of sand is formed on the pattern is about around 30 seconds. A shell is formed around this pattern. Afterwards you can remove this one, and then you have to now the shell is along with the pattern is cured in a oven at about 300 degrees centigrade for 2 to 3 minutes to make a this shell strong. Okay, and then the shell is ejected out of the pattern. This is the shell is ejected of the pattern. Similarly, another half you have to prepare. Finally, two halves you have to join together with the gum or clamp. The complete shell is kept in the empty mold box and packed with the sand, metal shards or gravel as support. This is the bags, and then here the backing sand, and then you have to prepare the mold cavity. Molten metal is poured through the sprue, and castings are produced. The pattern along with the gates and risers are fixed onto a metal plate to facilitate preparing the shell, that is heating, coating with the resin, so on, and ejecting the shell easily. And then in this the main advantages of this shell molding is the least amount of materials is to be handled in shell molding. It may be less than 10% of weight of the casting, and then very thick operating cycle, that is less than 5 minutes, and therefore it is more suitable for producing mass production. And then molds are immediately ready for pouring. Castings made in shell molding exhibit excellent surface finish, and then dimensional tolerance is superb. It is possible to produce very thin sections castings, and then we have to produce some defectless castings, and then any metal or alloy can be cast easily in shell molding process, more suitable for mechanized operation. These are the main advantages of this shell molding. And then it is having some disadvantages. The initial cost is high, and then initial metal patterns are employed. That's why it is expensive. And then you are using some binder, phenol formaldehyde is fairly expensive, and then reclamation is expensive and is very difficult because you are using some resins. Reclamation is very difficult. And then applications of this shell molding. Shell molding is widely used in making automobile parts such as oil engine cylinders and then cylinder heads, etc. Next, you go for investment molding. In investment molding, here it is a process to produce intricate, complex shape and highly smooth surface castings. In this, absolutely no machining is required on the casting, and then any metal or alloy can be cast. And then in this procedure for making this one, in this a disposable pattern material such as wax is used. Wax is the most popular pattern material used. Here sand is refractory slurry that consists of silica sand, and then binder it may be a ethyl silicate or colloidal silicate, and then you are using some accelerator, and then water. First, the required shape of pattern is got by injecting molten wax into metallic die. After freezing, the pattern is taken out of the die. That is the one preparing wax pattern. And then a number of patterns may be attached on a common sprue with necessary gates and form a cluster. This is the pattern tree or cluster. It is a number of wax patterns are prepared, and then you have to attach both sides. Okay, and then the cluster pattern is dipped in the refractory slurry and taken out. A thin layer of coating is formed on the pattern. After preparing the pattern slurry, then you have to dip in a slurry. After dipped in a slurry, a thin layer of coating is formed on the pattern. This process is continued several times, that is 7 to 8 times, so that 8 to 10 mm shell thickness is formed. Here while dipping 8 to 9 times, you will getting a shell like this and thin layer of coating. This process is continued. Okay. Now the shell is heated suddenly around 1100 degree centigrade to 1200 degree centigrade, To remove wax, that is the de-waxing. Okay, you have to remove the whatever the wax here. You can remove the, that is revert the this one pre-coating and investment, yeah, and then we will remove the wax. uh, Now the shell is heated suddenly to 1100 degree to 1200 degree centigrade to remove wax as well as sintering the shell to harden the shell. Sintering shell with cavity is ready to receive the molten metal. This is the okay. After casting the metal, the shell is broken and required castings are separated, cut off from the screw and gate. Wax is collected and then reused, and then castings are then collected for dispatch. All types of metals and alloys can be easily cast in this process, mainly nickel alloys and then alloy steel, and then high temperature alloys also cast by using this investment casting process. And then surgical instruments, turbine blades, aerospace parts are produced by this in this process, and then process is somehow costly. The main advantages of this investment molding, in this process you will getting some dimensional accuracy is very good, and then any intricate and complex shapes castings can be done. Machining is completely eliminated. Very thin castings can be done. Then it is suitable, very much suited for mechanization. And then drawback of this one is it is costly. That is, the initial cost is more. It requires very close control over process variables, and then size and weight of the castings is limited. And then in applications, chief components that are made using this investment castings are turbine blades, electrical and electronic components. In this mainly aerospace parts, turbine blades, surgical instruments also can produce in this investment molding process. Next we will go for plaster molding. Here plaster mold. Here plaster of Paris or gypsum is used to make molds. Only non-ferrous castings, especially aluminum castings, can be cast. In this we will getting some good surface finish in the castings can be obtained in plaster molding. And then high temperature alloys cannot be cast in the mold since plaster of Paris dehydrates and mold crumbles. And then there is a possibility of sudden release of water causing some blowholes in the casting. In this process you can using around ratio of 1 is to 1.6, that is plaster of Paris plus water. After slow mixing you will get a slurry plus heat, and then immediately you can pour the pattern kept in the mold box and allowed to dry and set. That's why you can usually in this metal patterns are used. Afterwards you can pour the pattern kept in the mold box and allowed to dry, and then setting reaction of hydrogen takes place, and then crystallization of plaster also takes place. And then you will go for pattern is removed, and then mold is dried, and then molten metal is poured immediately. Here after solidification mold is broken and casting is removed, and then after in this below the 120-60 degree it dehydrates and forms CS4 plus water, and then above 160 degree centigrade you can remaining combined water is driven off some anhydrous calcium sulfate. This is the one type of plaster mold. This simple process in this we can using only metal patterns. Afterwards many intricate shapes also you can produce by this process. Uh, place the metal pattern, and then immediately you can pour the molten metal. You'll get this type of molds. And then this is the last type, and then cement bonded sand molds. Here a mixture of sand, this is base sand, usually in silica sand, and then you're using around 8 to 12% of cement, and then 4 to 8, 10 to 8% of water is used to prepare the molds. Here mold is prepared as in the normal process, and then the setting sand takes place due to hydrolysis. The mold becomes hard and gain strength. Additives are to be used to improve the collapsibility of the sand, and then good accurate castings can be produced. Small to very heavy castings also can be easily produced in cement bonded sand molds. And drying of sand mold may be required to ensure dry molds, and then sand reclamation is very poor because you're using cement. Okay, this is about sand cement bonded sand molds. That completes model number 1. Thank you for patience listening.